views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Hey everyone, I'm the Doc Bob Lee. You're watching Open BXRX, and we've got you covered like a blanket. We're going to hook you up like we owe you something. It's another day, another way. In fact, coming up on today's show, here's what we've got for you. We'll speak to a CEO of an organization that is helping Black women to craft their own brands. And then we'll speak to an educator who will shed some light on her fight against a life-altering illness, and also hear from physicians aiding in that fight. After that, we'll hear from a former city council member to learn about the work he's doing to empower our youth. And then Bobby C, he steps into the room with the latest in the world of sports. And then finally, we'll sit down with the founder of an organization that is helping women overcome adversity. Stay tuned. All of this and more headed your way right here on Open. Hey everyone, I'm the Dr. Bob Lee. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You know, you're watching Open Live. It's that interactive program that brings the Bronx and New York City straight to your TV set. So you can stay connected to us through social media at BronxNet TV. Don't worry about a thing. We've got you covered. Leading things off, our first guest is the CEO of Beyond the C-Suite. And she joins us today to speak about how her organization is helping Black women in executive positions carve out their own unique brands. Yes, so please welcome to the show, Deandra Coleman. Deandra, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. Deandra, tell us, your story is one of comfort to tragedy to triumph. Can you take us, give us an inside look of your journey through what you've come through?
Yeah, absolutely. So I grew up on the North Shore of Long Island. Very cushy upbringing. You know, my parents worked hard and followed the straight and narrow path, went to college, got my undergraduate degree. And then in my late 20s, the rug was kind of pulled out from underneath me. I unexpectedly found myself unemployed. I was wrongfully terminated from a position, which led me to live back with my parents, which led me to being bored. And then I ultimately found myself pregnant at 27. And I was not anticipating that.
Yeah.
And my son, the beautiful blessing that he is, was born at the beginning of he was born at the end of 2008. So that was the beginning of the recession in 2009, if you recall. And so here I am, unemployed, single mom, and on every type of welfare that you could possibly imagine. You know, standing in line at the Department of Social Services, food stamps, WIC, everything possible, energy, all of that, medical. And my lowest point there was actually near homelessness. I had to go and check in with a caseworker who worked at a homeless shelter. And so I would have my baby in tow and, you know, be sitting arm to arm and elbow to elbow with those who were really more down on their luck than I was. And so that was kind of a turning point for me. I was like, I can't stay here. And so through a series of events, I kind of worked my way back. I put myself through my MBA program full-time. I was a full-time single mom, full-time student, and, you know, graduated early with top honors. And, you know, the rest is history. But, you know, there was some ebbing and flowing in my story and my journey, for sure. It has not always been rainbows and sunshine by any means.
You had a fight that you had to deal with, huh?
Absolutely.
Uphill battle. So then you came from that. How did you pull yourself out, other than, you know, getting the education and doing all those things that you had to do to get where you are today?
Basically, I was, you know, it was self-reflection. that I had to do a lot of, kind of pulling myself out of the dumps. You know, there was a lot of depression that happened with where I was because, again, I came from a place where, you know, you do the right things and you stay on the right track.
Right.
And so with all of that, it was taking small jobs here and there that maybe I didn't necessarily want to be doing,
Yeah,
right? But I had to do it in order to survive.
that's what it was.
Um,
It was a job, not a career. But go ahead.
Exactly. That's a great point. Jobs, not necessarily a career, while I was still building my career. And so after I graduated with my MBA, which came later on in life, you know, I didn't go right after undergraduate. I was well into my 30s. I was about 35 when I got my MBA.
I
But
thought,
right after.
okay. I thought you were 35 now. 30.
Thank you. No, I am a proud 40 and over,
All
proud member
right.
of the 40 and over club.
God bless you.
Thank you. But after that, my career trajectory really took off, you know. So it really was just being in the trenches to get to that MBA and knowing what I wanted, and then being relentless in going after that, and with each position climbing that corporate ladder, which is what I thought I really wanted at the time.
Yeah. So how did you get involved in Beyond the C-Suite? What is it? What is it all about?
So I am a believer that corporate America specifically is mentally, emotionally, and financially abusive for Black women. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
And in my wanting to accomplish the right things and take the right path, I thought that that climbing that corporate ladder was going to be it for me, like the pinnacle of my career. I had reached C-suite status. I was COO of a company and, you know, VP at one point of another one and doing all of the things with the fancy titles. But I was miserable. And I realized that there had to be something else beyond this, right? Like I could not have worked this hard to be this miserable
Yeah.
in my career. And so when the pandemic hit, you know, as many of us, we were kind of forced with, well, what's next, you know? And so I started Beyond the C-Suite, really in an effort to help other women who looked like me, who often got their voices silenced, right? They were unable to either reach those levels, or when they did reach them, they weren't treated fairly. And my purpose with Beyond the C-Suite is to really give Black executive women their own personal brand that follows them no matter where they go, right? No matter what position they hold, their personal brand follows them. And then we give them a space to amplify their voice, which often in corporate America is silenced, right? So we're helping them amplify their voice and messaging and ultimately their legacy.
I like that. So what's next for you? I know you had some challenges putting that all together, but talk about those challenges and then tell me what's next for you.
Absolutely. So, with Beyond the C Suite, you know, Black women specifically are often not able to express their fears and concerns. And so, really, the challenges that I've had with building this business is reaching those women and meeting them where they are because they're often afraid to say, okay, well, you know, I don't want it to be known that I'm looking to write a book, or I don't want it to be known yet that I'm looking to start a speaking career. You know, it needs to stay secretive while I keep my 9 to 5 corporate position, right?
Yeah.
And so the challenge is getting to them and working on this. It's almost sometimes top secret projects, right? And then launching them into this thought leader status. But what is next for me is because I know that these women have some challenges kind of being forward with what they want. I have a podcast that's starting. It's called,
Oh, all right.
yeah. I'm very excited about it. And it's what is called a private podcast, right? So this podcast won't be available to the masses. It is really for us, by us, and
Uh-huh.
it is a subscription-based podcast where each episode we kind of walk the listeners through how to build a personal brand, how to build out your messaging that you
Ah,
want to relay to the world. We have guest experts coming as to, you know, if you want a ghostwriter for your
mhm.
book, how do you accomplish that? If you're looking to speak, what are the things that you need to do to hone your speaking skills? And so this podcast will be for those Black executive women who are like, I need to know, but I need this to be secretive right now. So I need some resources. So it'll really be a resource for them to move into thought leader status and subject matter expert in their industry.
I like it. I like it. I love it. What advice can you give to other Black women, Black and brown women, who want to move into your executive space or this executive space?
Yeah. So I would say, really and truly, and it sounds so cliche, but stick with your dreams, right? Like you have a purpose for a reason, and God gave you that specific purpose and dream because He knows that you can execute it, right? And the road is not always going to be easy by any means, but you have to really dig deep to say, okay, what is it? What is my purpose, and what is the avenue that I can execute it through? And if
Yeah.
you're looking to move into this executive space, thick skin is something that you're going to have to have. Thick skin and patience, really and truly, because it's not something that's going to happen overnight. But it can happen, and it can happen if you're strategic about it. And that is probably my best advice. Be strategic.
Deandra, where can we go for more information?
Absolutely. You can find me at beyondthecsuite.co. That is my website. I'm also on LinkedIn at Deandra Coleman. So those are probably the best two places to find me. And if you're looking for info on the podcast, it's podcast.beyondthecsuite.co.
Watch out. It's a sweet thing.
It is.
Thank you so much, Deandra.
Thank you. I appreciate your time.
And thank you for all the work that you're doing. And always come back, okay?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Deandra Coleman, CEO, Beyond the C-Suite. A sweet thing. We'll take a break right here. I've got more open coming up next. Welcome back, everybody. I'm the Doc Bob Lee for 107.5 WBLS. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You have a seat at the table, and it's a beautiful thing. Our next guest, our school principal for the New York City Department of Education, was with us today to speak about her fight with colon cancer. And she is joined by the Director of Colon and Rectal Surgery of New York and Gastroenterology Specialist for the Gastroenterology Associates of Brooklyn, who share insight on colon cancer treatment options. So please welcome to the show, Dr. Lisette Caesar, Dr. Lynn O'Connor, and Dr. Cynthia Quainoo. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Now, you guys are no strangers to the show. Lisette, I've been to your school many times before. I love what you're doing with the students there. They love you, and the school is like flourishing because you know what to do. I wanted to ask each of you just to tell me a little bit about you before we delve into what we're going to talk about.
Hi, I am Dr. Lisette Caesar. I am the founding principal of Mosaic Preparatory Academy, a school in East Harlem, New York. And in 2019, I just had finished my doctoral studies in educational leadership, and I became very ill. And I just thought I was just exhausted from 3 years of studying and working as a principal and some other jobs. And took 2 weeks off from work thinking that would help rejuvenate me. Unfortunately, I continued to be sick, lots of vomiting, not being able to hold food down. And so I went to urgent care. They said maybe just a virus. And so they gave me some things for a stomach virus. Unfortunately, I kept going back to urgent care and to my regular doctor until May 3rd, 2019. I ended up going to work with 104 fever. My secretary drove me home. She's like, "You can't be here." I went back to urgent care where they had to call an ambulance for me. And so I ended up going to NYU's emergency room where they diagnosed me with diverticulitis and said that I need to have immediate surgery because I had an abscess. And that was after them doing a CAT scan. I stabilized in the hospital that night, so they didn't do the surgery until Monday. And then I had drains coming out of me for a while. And it was a little scary that week because that was the same week I was supposed to be hooded for my doctoral studies that Saturday in Albany. And here I am lying in the hospital. and not knowing exactly what was going on. And so this being sick went on for 4 months while I had at that time 12 CAT scans and kept being told I had diverticulitis. It wasn't until I decided to visit other GI doctors. I attempted to get a colonoscopy because I was so acute and constantly sick and going to the emergency all the time. No one would do a colonoscopy.
Yeah, and they don't want to give you a colonoscopy either because they think they're going to puncture something if you have diverticulitis.
So I met Dr. Ree, who was a colorectal cancer surgeon, and she said I needed immediate surgery. And so I had colon resection surgery July 23rd. And when she opened me up, she saw a mass. She didn't immediately tell me when she came to visit me in the hospital room, although I think she knew. It wasn't until I went back to her office on August 5th that she told me I had stage 2 colon cancer. And so I've been battling colon cancer off and on since 2019. Initially, I had 12 rounds of FOLFOX infusion. I have a port inside of me. I was told in April 26th that I was done with those cancer treatments. And then a month later, I was told I was cancer-free. So a year later, the cancer came back. It had metastasized to my liver. So I had my entire gallbladder removed and part of my liver removed. And now I'm on a daily regimen of chemo and some other vitamins and things I do to try to just stay healthy.
I am Dr. O'Connor, and I am the director, owner, operator of Colon and Rectal Surgery of New York.
And Cynthia, Dr. Cynthia Quainoo.
I am Dr. Quainoo. I am a gastroenterologist and hepatologist currently in private practice in Brooklyn. My primary area of interest is colon cancer awareness and prevention.
So, Dr. Lisette Caesar, you have a wonderful team of people around you, helping you get what you need out of life and helping you to move in that right direction. And I don't know how you do it because you also have all of those children that you talk about at the school. You know, do some of the children know what you're going through?
So when I came back, because I was on medical leave for 14 months the first time I had cancer, when I came back, kids had a lot of questions, and I came back in the middle of the pandemic. So they kept asking me, was cancer contagious, the way that, you know, COVID is contagious. So I tried to find books about cancer to explain to kids that it's not contagious, but it is preventable based on our diet and exercise and just our overall wellness. But I didn't find any books that looked like me, that spoke to my particular type of cancer. And so I ended up writing my own children's book, and primarily for my own students, so that they have an understanding of what I'm going through and how the first time I went through cancer, that they sent me lots of letters and pictures and videos, and their love really helped me get through that year of going through cancer treatment.
Yeah. Dr. Quainoo and Dr. O'Connor, this is for you. Why is it important to continue raising awareness for colorectal cancer?
It's really important because colorectal cancer is one of the most preventable cancers that are out there. It's also one of the most common. It's the second most common cancer that we have in the United States, and both men and women are roughly equally affected. But with proper screening, proper awareness, with dietary restrictions, with dietary and risk factor prevalence awareness, this is something that we can actually prevent. We're supposed to have approximately 150,000 new cases this year, and about a third of those will be deceased from colorectal cancer this year. And the interesting thing is we've even found that colorectal cancer rates are increasing in younger patients. So getting the word out, letting people know about this disease and that it's preventable, it's beatable is key.
Yeah. Dr. Quainoo?
Yes, so yes, raising awareness is important also because it's kind of not a sexy topic to talk about. And I feel like the more we talk about it, the more we remove any stigma that we have socially about talking about digestive diseases. And also talking about the procedures that are involved for proper screening. There's also a lot of stigma about that as well. And the more we kind of talk about and describe these things, people are less fearful of having these screenings done.
Dr. Quainoo, what are some of the preventive measures that can be taken, and how is this treated?
So in terms of prevention, first and foremost, getting screened is of the utmost importance. So if you're an average risk individual, meaning you have no family history of colon cancer or colon polyps, that you should begin screening at the age of 45. If you have a family history, your screening can begin at an earlier age, depending on the family member that's affected and how old that individual is. So it's also important to talk about family history and share that information within the family as well. Diet.
Go ahead.
Diet, exercise, alcohol intake, and tobacco use are also modifiable risk factors that we need to discuss as well. So excessive alcohol use and tobacco use, obesity, and diets that are high in fat and low in fiber, fruits and vegetables are often thought to contribute to your risks.
And you mentioned something about polyps. Tell our audience what that is.
So polyps are small abnormal growths of tissue that can grow in the colon. Colon cancer screening with colonoscopy is geared at removing those benign growths of tissue before they can grow larger and become problematic or become colon cancers.
Dr. O'Connor, who is mostly impacted by this? We mentioned younger people are getting colon cancer, but who's more impacted by colon cancer, colorectal cancer?
So although we are seeing younger folks being impacted by colorectal cancer, it's still a disease of the older population. The problem is that it's just becoming more problematic in the younger population because these risk factor prevalences that we see are more prevalent now in this population, such as the obesity, the sedentary lifestyle, the diet. We're in an Uber Eats type of community. But when you look at stage for stage, African Americans have a higher rate of colorectal cancer than any other race. We are 20% more likely to be diagnosed with it, and we are 40% more likely to die from colorectal cancer. And that's largely because of the diet and prevalence factors that were just spoken about, as well as access to care and disparity. So the healthcare disparities that exist. So when you're looking at who's affected, this is disease that's equal opportunity for men and women. Men are slightly a little bit more a higher prevalence. However, because women live longer, it's roughly equal. And then when you're looking at it across racial disparities, African Americans by far have higher rates and higher morbidity and mortality. But with screening, that's where we make the difference, because screening colonoscopies save lives.
Thank you guys so much. I wish we can talk more about it, but you're always welcome to come back. Lisette, you're my heart. Dr. O'Connor, pleasure meeting you. Dr. Quainoo, thank you. You're no stranger to the show. You're always welcome to come back and share your thoughts and educate our listening and viewing audience. We appreciate you and we love you guys.
Having us.
Thank you very much for having us.
Where can we go for more information? Is there a website or?
I have my website, www.colon and rectal surgery of New York. It's spelled out just like that. There's a lot of information regarding screening, regarding diet, regarding education. Exercise is important. I am 2 offices in Huntington and 1 in Rockville Center. I'm in private practice. You can locate me at any time on that website to schedule an appointment or further consultation.
We love you guys. Thank you guys so much. Thanks for sharing. Thanks
Bob,
for
can I add one thing?
Yes, go ahead.
So for parents and caregivers who want to talk to their kids about cancer, who has cancer in the family, my book is available on my website, littlelizzie.org, as well as in Amazon.
Thank you guys so much. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Very much for having us.
All right, we'll take a break. I've got more open. Keep it right there. Kick off your shoes and relax your feet. Here we go. More coming next. Welcome back, everybody. I'm the Doc Bob Lee from 107.5 WBLS, and you are watching Open. We thank you and appreciate you, too. Our next guest is a former city councilman of the 12th District and the executive director of the Bronx YEP program. We call it the YEP program. And he's here with us today to speak about the work that he's doing in our community to uplift our young men and women, too. So please welcome to the show, Andy King. Andy, welcome to the show, man.
Peace and blessings to you, good Bob Lee. How you feel today?
I'm feeling really, really good. We've been on this for a while. We've been doing a lot of interviews, but I'm doing a lot of work in the community. But when I'm in the community, I see you in the community with this wonderful program, the YEP program, Youth Empowerment. Tell us more about that.
Yes, we've been in existence for 17 years. Prior to me going into office, my passion has been as a licensed caseworker, certified caseworker for the city of New York, always working in children development, youth development. So when we started the Bronx Youth Empowerment Program 17 years ago, after trying to get Freddie engaged to be Freddie for mayor of New York when he lost, the kids were still inspired about being actively engaged in civic activities. The Bronx Youth Empowerment Program emerged itself. 17 years later, we are still meeting, educating kids, saving kids' lives, having conversations, allowing them to be productive adults, and just taking that adolescence age, helping them understand the importance to navigate the minefields of life. So by the time they reach 18, 19, and 20, and 25, having their own children, that they know how to do it right. So we're thankful and grateful. My wife and I started that we've been able to do this for so long. And the kids that have come out, the youth, let me not call them kids, the youth that have come out of this program, we got about a 99% rate of the children who've been through, and we're talking about hundreds of kids who are doing the right thing today in society.
Now, I remember a young man by the name of Brian. Every time I came down and made an appearance with it, he was right there, and he became a part of your chief of staff back then when you were the city council member. Is that right?
Yes, he definitely. I'm very proud of that young man. He's doing good things, and he's an example of what the program produces. Young people that we strive to produce each and every day.
Now, when we met out in the community, the last time we met out in the community, we were at the Mount Olive Baptist Church on 124th Street or somewhere like that, and you were advocating for missing girls. Tell us about that program.
Yeah, well, over the course of time in America, we know that there's been this relationship, an ugly relationship with America and our Black children, and Blacks in period. So there's been over decades, Black children going missing and no attention brought to them. So we even go back to even as early as last year when the Caucasian woman from Long Island vanished, and everyone from Wisconsin to Wyoming to Florida, she was on every station talking about where's Gabby. Everybody's trying to find her. People don't know, even at that same time, there were 10 Black girls missing in the city of New York, and you heard no news outlet have any conversation or put the time and energy for our Black girls that were missing. So after going and working with Black and missing children, Black and exploited children, we realized the numbers were in the hundreds of thousands of kids across the United States, kids of color who are missing, whether they were sold into human trafficking, or one of the biggest crimes is human harvesting of body parts, or just death. So we wanted to bring attention to it and urging our media outlets, working with NYPD, to tell the story, put it out there, and not categorize our Black kids as runaways, because when they put them in the categories of runaways, less attention is placed on them. So we wanted to change the dynamic of how law enforcement looks at our children when they go missing, but more importantly, holding the media accountable to tell the story. So when I was in the council, we did something similar. And when we had the press conference show girls pictures, we found 3 girls in a matter of a week. We got 3 girls to return them. So the media is going to play a big part of exposing when kids are running away, that no one can hide underneath the radar. But it gives the neighborhood, if they see that child out there in the street with someone, they say, hey, isn't that a missing person that was on that list? Then we can figure out how to find them, confront them, and bring them back home.
When you confront the media, what do you want them to know? How do you want them?
We want them to know, because Missing Persons Bureau told us there was times that they would send images and stories of missing Black children, and the media wouldn't tell the story. So we're asking the media to be more responsible. Any child, whether they're Black, Hispanic, Puerto Rican, or Caucasian, every child's life is valuable. So you can't discriminate who's missing child that you're going to share the story about when there's a parent at home in stress trying to get their children back home.
Yeah. So, but then when it's reported, that's the thing. People say, well, they're missing. Maybe they ran away from home.
But if you don't know, for the media, we're saying every child isn't a runaway. And if a child is not a runaway, don't classify him as a runaway. And if NYPD, and I'm going on what NYPD shared with me, if NYPD gives you to the media, says, this is a missing child, can you help us? You don't have the luxury of saying, you know what, that's not a good story for us today. We're not going to air that story. We're going to talk about some other stuff. When there's families and parents and neighbors looking for a child, some of them get publicity, but we're saying if Missing Persons Bureau give you something, you got to pay attention to it. I mean, that got to take priority to any other stuff that's happening because that's their job to bring children back home. That's their job to find people. And if they're coming to you for help, you really have a responsibility not to discriminate against any family or any child based on ethnicity or any other television agenda.
Of course, they're so very, very important. We must revisit this again. But is there anywhere where we can go to find out more about this particular topic?
Well, we're putting stuff. We're asking people to email the Bronx YEP at YEP was one of the sponsors of it, of making sure that we take care of our young people. And Pastor Charles Curtis at Mount Olivet Church on 120th Street in Lenox. Anybody can contact the church if they have any information on missing girls or need to learn more about it. And we are putting in a coalition. A number of us are meeting next week at the church, along with NYPD and a number of other organizations to come together to strategize how to identify these missing girls, identify systems, and more importantly, find strategies and partner up with other states such as Georgia and Washington that have a big missing girls and missing Black children problem as well. How do we find the best solutions to get our children back home?
I know you working with the NYPD. When I was there, you had I think community affairs or some of the people from NYPD there with you, along with the pastor. We thank you guys, man, for bring this to light, because people need to know. We need to continue to create the awareness about these missing girls.
Yes, we do. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah. And you do a lot of, you're still working hard in the community. You have something coming up?
Yes, we do. Actually, next month, the Bronx Youth Program with Parks Department, we're going to be doing what we call Recreational Day. They kick off kids just before they go out on spring break for the break school and get their exercise on, jump around, play, burn off some energy, learn how to throw a football, learn how to shoot a basketball, do the hula hoop, and run a little track. Just a day to camaraderie and have our kids do something, especially coming out of this pandemic that's going on. So many of our young people have been in, just locked down mentally. So we want them to breathe the air, run and jump and be a child again, be a youth again, and let the rules of all of the mandates that locked us in for a moment in time to be free, and because one of the things that this COVID has done, it has mentally put a heavy burden on our youth. And I sometimes, as I sit with some of the young people in the program, that's a conversation that needs to happen more and more and more. How many kids are traumatized because this is a part of their life where they're growing, the brains are still developing, the body parts are still developing, and we've kind of subdued that and suppressed it. And how is that having an impact on the thinking of these children? So one of the things that we do on recreation is letting the mind and the body be free.
Andy, are you running again?
I'm running for my life right now.
Keep running, helping people in our community, man. We love you, man.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And I will, and because I know you got to go, want to just let people know on May 7th, we are going to be having what we're calling our Boys to Men. We did one on a church in McCombs. We're doing one in the North Bronx on May 7th, Boys to Men Part 2, Our Resurrection, where a number of Black men are coming together, Black and Hispanic men are coming together to have a conversation with our young Black and Hispanic boys about what that transitioning looks like to pull you out of any gang activity or anything that can slow you down from being a productive and a great young man.
Is it on your website?
We will be posting it up in the coming days, so people who want to be a part or come to it, we're telling the location where it's going to be held at. So yes, look forward to my next week to get the flyer to you.
What's the website?
No, we don't have it on the website yet, but we will.
What's
the Bronx Youth Empowerment Program? It'll be on our social media pages, our King Talk pages. It will be on. So everyone, stay tuned. Look for it in the next 24 to 48 hours.
You got it, Andy King. Thank you, man. Executive Director of YEP. Youth Empowerment Program. We appreciate you, bro.
Thank you so much, because I know people pay attention to people who participate.
And that about does it for this segment right here. Bobby C is up next with the latest in the world of sports. If you love sports, kick off your shoes and relax your feet. Here we go. Coming up next on Open.
We built a media network for you.
BronxNet TV.
Come learn in your new state-of-the-art studios at Lehman College.
At Mercy College.
And coming soon to the South Bronx in the Hub.
Inspire with your stories, culture, history.
Your Bronx on BronxNet.
Engage with us.
Connect with us at your channels and at bronxnet.tv.
Learn, engage, inspire. BronxNet TV.
From the Bronx
to the world.
BronxNet.
If you are looking for a running back for your fantasy football team, we have your man right here, the newest member of the Miami Dolphins, Chase Edmonds. Chase, congratulations, bro, on the new contract. So great to see you.
Great to see you, man. I appreciate y'all having me on here too.
Yeah, no, it's exciting to have you, be on with us this morning. And it's just amazing to think from Rose Hill and Fordham in the Bronx to this amazing stardom in the NFL. It's just well deserved.
I appreciate it, bro. It's definitely surreal. I feel like I came a long ways. Very proud, but, also just very grateful for the journey that I've been on so far, man.
Yeah, Chase, I saw on socials, I thought it was a great tweet that you had put out there. You talked about, really the blessing of getting through your rookie deal. I was wondering if you thought it was even more surreal that you get so much love from some of your teammates, guys like Kyler Murray and Kenyon Drake, regarding this new deal.
I think just as I think about it, man, about my time and, where I've come from and coming from Fordham and how it's molded me as a player and as a man, just to going back on the tweet first, I was just sitting down with Kurt. Kurt's like my best friend that I've gained while I've been on the NFL. And just to see all the faces that we saw in and out of the building of Arizona Cardinals and to be able to look back on it and, be the only 2 draft picks from that class to actually make it through the rookie deal and to look around the NFL and just see how many guys don't make their rookie contract, man. It was just something that, I was very grateful for, bro. I remember coming out of Fordham, kind of nervous, didn't really know what to expect, didn't really know how good I was yet just because, the level of competition and hearing that. And I think still at that point, it was still kind of early on from the FCS really transitioning to the NFL, like actually seeing first round picks from the FCS, that was about 2 years after I left that started really happening. But so just to, come from that school, like everything that I've been through at that school, it was just so surreal for me to, make it through my rookie year and to be able to go through free agency and understand and really experience, like there's guys that go through free agency and, they kind of worry about, well, is someone going to offer me a job? That's the reality of the business. But from my end of it, just to be able to literally line up teams and say, okay, do I like this team? Do I like this team? Like that was a real cool moment for me, bro. And just a very proud moment for me, like that hard work pays off.
Absolutely, got to be a great moment. I mean, it's still incredible too, Chase, that you're so young. I mean, you're 25. You'll be 26 in April. Happy early birthday! Coming off your best season as a pro, and I make jokes about the fantasy stuff, but I mean, when you look at it, and coming off your best season, and if you look at those deeper metrics, all signs point to you not just being a good player in the NFL, but potentially an elite running back in the NFL. And to me, as a fan, I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that you play so well on all three downs. You've had success as a zone runner. You've had success in the NFL in this run pass option game, gap scheme running, and also the passing game. You've been able to put up numbers in different aspects of the sport. So, in your mind, is leaving Arizona for Miami all that you need to bring it all together?
I'm not going to just say that move alone. I think I have what it takes to really make it happen. It's just all about, opportunity and kind of about just obviously seizing the opportunity. And that's something that I look forward to doing in Miami, just trying to build off what I did in Arizona and continue to improve as a player. I believe truly that my best playing days are ahead of me. I believe that I'm just now starting to really scratch the surface and understand, who I am as a player in this league and what I'm capable of doing in this league, and, certain things of like what my advantages are in this league. I'm really starting to learn about my strengths as a player when it comes to just against certain teams, against other teams. So, I think though for me, the opportunity in Miami was just really, trusting and believing in McDaniel, who he's a guru in his own right. He's very creative, and he does a great job of just really utilizing his players to the best of their abilities and their strengths. So I think that's something that is tailored for me with my versatility and kind of coming out the backfield, whether it's, any type of route, and just being that best friend option for the quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, I think that might have been one of the main reasons why Miami was so hot for you as a player.
Yeah.
I mean, you're one of the first reported players to be in agreement with the team. And I was going to ask you actually about head coach Mike McDaniel and your outlook for this upcoming year, because it seems like all the pieces might be falling into place for the Dolphins.
Yeah, hopefully we can sign Big Teron. I think we're hosting Big Teron Armstead right now, the number one tackle. So we fingers crossed for that one. But I do think the pieces are falling in place. And the one thing I like about the pieces that we got going on right now is just that a lot of the guys we signed were all kind of in our prime age, and, looking to build off of what was an improved season for all of us, whether it was Cedric, Connor Williams, myself. So just, finding ways to build around the offense. And we already got a nice, capable offense over there with Jalen Waddle, 2 at the quarterback spot, and obviously Gesicki at tight end. So I think we can really make some noise. We just got to figure out to just take it a day at a time, work hard like it is every day.
I think the fans at home would probably know about the legacy of Fordham football, but, in more recent years, it hasn't necessarily been the way that it was, let's say, in the Vince Lombardi days, but you were able to kind of resurrect some of that during your playing days at Fordham. I was hoping now you could take me back to those Bronx days and your senior season at Fordham. Again, not too long ago, back 2017, yeah. You close out your career as the Patriot League all-time leading rusher, 5th most rushing yards in NCAA FCS history, and some big names on that list right above you. I mean, talking about guys like Adrian Peterson. You also graduate as the Patriot League all-time leader in career touchdowns and rushing touchdowns. For you, what is that defining playing moment at Rose Hill? Is there one that stands out?
Got to be the Lafayette game. I think the Lafayette. I don't even remember the stat line. I think it was like 21 carries for like 359 and like 4 touchdowns. But just remembering that game, because I think I also broke the record of like most yards per carry, minimum 15 attempts. It was just a great game for me, and I think it kind of represented what my career was at Fordham. Just, really good, obviously. But I think what I loved about it most was just really celebrating my milestones and my achievements with my teammates, man, and just brothers that I still have to this day. Like 2-3 weeks ago, I was back home visiting my daughter in PA, and I texted my boys from Fordham. I was like, yo, I'm in the area. I haven't been in New York City in a long time. I'm trying to just find a way where all of us can get together. Ended up getting the B&B for like 9 of us, you know what I'm saying, just to get all the boys back together. That was the first time I had all those boys in one setting since I left Fordham, just because of COVID, everything was going on. I really wasn't getting back east. So it just like that day and that moment kind of just represented just everything, really celebrating that with my teammates and my bros. And that's just something I always hold dear to my heart because, I still have relationships with those men. And it was great catching up with those boys.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome, Chase. I mean, I remember you, of course, as a freshman. You come in, you're 185 pounds, and as you mentioned, by way of Pennsylvania in 2014. That first year, though, I mean, you hit the ground running. You end up winning the Jerry Rice Award as the FCS Freshman of the Year. And it's not long that you go from 185 pounds to 210 pounds. So, I mean, the work ethic to me for you has always been unparalleled. Can you talk about that process and the fact that you always seem to have your eye on the NFL right away, even from that first year?
Yeah. Funny story, man. Like, I tell people this all the time, and again, it molded me. But I remember going to Fordham and we were going to class, and like we played like this icebreaker game of like, what did you want to do after college? You know, we're at Fordham, so we got guys saying Wall Street, you know, people saying all these crazy things, and they got to me, and I said I wanted to be in the NFL. You know, I wanted to be an NFL football player, and I just remember like the smirks and like some of the, like I could see like my eye, like just like the looks and like the body language of people, like, you know, like, come on, bro, like you're at Fordham, like you're not going to the NFL, you're not going to the league. So that just always reminds me, man. Like, and I like stuff like that around Fordham. I just used, you know, as kind of like a chip on my shoulder. And it really was just such motivation to me, bro, to just every time I did something football related on that campus, you know, I was really doing it.
That was part one of our interview with Fordham great and newest Miami Dolphin of the NFL, Chase Edmonds. Tune in Monday for part two.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm the Doc Bob Lee from 107.5 WBLS. You're watching Open, and our final guest is the founder of Rise of Broken Women. Now, she's with us today to speak about how she overcame adversity, why her organization is equipped to break the cycle of poverty, and how she is helping other women change their lives. So please welcome to the show, Charlee Newman. Welcome, Charlee.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Charlee, tell me, how did your journey influence the founding of Rise of the Broken Woman or Rise of Broken Women?
Yes. Well, let's see. What happened was I was homeless. I lived on the street for like 3 days, and my bedroom was on the A train. And then at that point, then I registered myself into a shelter. Yeah. After that, being in the shelter, it was crazy. I didn't understand why I was there, what was going on. It was crazy. I kind of lost it. And then I had to regain myself and say, we're not going to cry. I put my blinders on and became laser focused. And for the whole time that I was there, observing what was going on and looking at myself, how did I get here? How I'm going to get out of here? And what happened was I noticed this young lady that walked up to the security guard, and she asked him for a menstrual hygiene pad. And he told her, the best thing for you to do is go in the bathroom, get you some toilet paper or paper towel or some newspaper for your issue. Oh, and that struck me. So I guess a few months later, I had this dream, and it was myself and another lady. And this lady was walking in front of me, and she turned around and she looked, and I nodded. And she walked 2 or 3 steps, and she turned around and she pointed at me and she says, I know you. You're the Rise of Broken Women. And I woke up like 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, what the hell? And so that's where the name came from. So I wasn't out there trying to create a business. I was trying to survive.
Right.
I said, now, how am I going to create a business? All I have in my pocket is 2 nickels. And I have those 2 nickels today. So once I started, receiving things, a young man introduced me to this organization where I could do like a part-time hostess, and it was free. And after every Thursday was my day, and I was for 8 hours. So, but what they did was they gave you the opportunity to work your business there for free. So then that's when I initiated and set up the Rise of Broken Women. And people have just been gravitating around me. I've helped women. These shelters, they called me up. They said, you're the only one that's helping us. And people in the street it was like crazy. I was going like, my God, what is this? And I realized when I was in the shelter, which was the most important thing, was that I found my purpose. We're always out here choosing our purpose and not realize that it's already built into you. Everybody is blessed with a skill, but what happens is we have so many people telling us no, which was a definite word, right? Yeah. And then you get yourself caught up in saying, oh, I might as well nix that because I can't do that.
Yeah, and we have to realize in life we're going to get a whole lot of no's. We're going to get we're going to fall down. We got to get back up, and those no's. Out of all those no's, there's going to be a yes in there somewhere. So you can't give up. So how did you, what type of services does Rise of the Broken Woman offer?
Yeah, Rise of Broken Women, we offer menstrual hygiene products, baby clothes, baby formula. See, what makes us different from all the other charities, we just don't specifically take care of one part. Yeah. This is a human body. Everything is needed. So we get shoes, bras, underwear, men's clothing, because there are men and single dads in the shelter. So the Rise of Broken Women, we do all of that. So what I also have done with our programs, which I built when I was in the shelter, I noticed that many people didn't even know how to turn on a computer. So I created a program called the RIP program, Work Reacclimating Internship Program. Training, RIP, because I said, oh, this fits, because I want to rip them out of that environment and get rid of that revolving door. Because you go to Burger King, something happens, you get sick, you can lose your job, you're right back in the shelter again. So I wanted to give them a skill, learning how to do that. So the program, it's like an 8-week, I use the word workshop, because that way they can get accustomed to the computer, learn what the computer does and how to use it and how to benefit you, training them how to create a Gmail account, how to answer Gmail account, how to write an email, things of this nature, and then have what we're going to call is mock interview, training them how to conduct themselves in an interview, because this is something that is so much needed, because we got a set of people that are basically street, and it's hard for them to convert, over to a better life.
Yeah. Hey, Charlie, what advice would you give to a young woman who has lost their way, and a young man also, for that matter, who's dealing with poverty? What advice would
what I tell everybody, stay focused and do not give up. It's not an option.
And how do you get your support as far as finances and everything?
People call me up.
All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I have a camera for you. You're live on camera. I'm going to give you the camera, and I'm going to ask you to ask for what you want. Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hi, everyone. This is Charlee Newman here from Rise of Broken Women. It would be awesome if you guys could donate, whether it's monetary donations or products, to the Rise of Broken Women, so in order to help those that are in need. And we can be reached at 917-306-2128, or you can find us on our email, www.riseofbrokenwomen.org, or you can email me, Charlie, at riseofbrokenwomen.org. Thank you so much.
And spell Charlie.
Charlee.
There you go.
All right.
Do you have any upcoming events that you want us to know about?
Yes, we have Code Red, Women's Rights or Human Rights, where you have 50% of women today are having to make a choice between buying menstrual products or put food on the table. You know, and they put food on the table due to due to financial difficulties.
Yeah. Where can we go to find out more about you?
On the website.
You have a website? What is that website?
And just go to, you'll see about me.
Where's that website at? What is it?
www.riseofbrokenwomen.org.
Riseofbrokenwomen.org. And we'll see Charlie's whole crew right there, right?
Yep.
All right. Hey, listen, thank you so much for all that you're doing in our community to help others get what they need out of life. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. That's about it. That's all we have for today's show. We appreciate you. We love you. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for checking it out. For our BronxNet crew, we appreciate you too. Always remember this: what you are is God's gift to you, and what you make of yourself is your gift to God. So choose your choice. Let your choice control the chooser. I'm the Dr. Bob Lee, and I'll see you over 107.5 WBLS. I love you all. Peace.